Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to Comme d'Archi Podcast Season 6.
Saison 6, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Deponte, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci.
Thank you
D'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
to be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
Dear listeners, this is Esther on behalf of Anne-Charlotte. Welcome to this new Comme d'Archi in English with a focus on a very interesting project. An off-site rehabilitation of 176 housing units by Djuric Tardio Architects. This podcast was produced in partnership with SYbois, the low-carbon wood frame wall and facade construction solution. The SYbois concept is an art of thinking a wall around its opening, the joinery, which it integrates. Visit www.SYbois.com. SYbois.com. Mirco Tardio hails from the Veneto region of Italy, and his desire for architecture began very early on. Probably when he was doing a high school classmates' exercises on the subject of architecture. He drew for her and enjoyed it. Time spent drawing by hand transported him. He decided to make it his profession, as it was a way of combining pleasure and work. He studied in Venice, during which time he joined a number of research-based agencies: Mauro Galantino, Vittorio Gregotti, Bernardo Secchi, Aldo Rossi too. In fact, they were his teachers. He followed them to Milan. In the end, France is a country where you can build, whereas Italy is frozen by its heritage. That's why Mirco decided to have a career in France. His taste for research, linked to the practice of the trade, comes from his Italian training. Today, Mirco Tardio has become a lecturer himself and teaches at Belleville. After working for Thiais et Morel and Atelier Jean Nouvel, he now shares his practice with Caroline Djuric, Mirco's partner at the agency and his partner in life, grew up with her architect father. The brutalist-style family home, in which the agency is based, was built by her own father. He made furniture and sculpted. Caroline grew up immersed in the discipline of architecture, with the builder as her model. Naturally, she studied at the École d'Architecture de Paris-Belleville and eventually doubled her studies at the prestigious École de Chaillot, graduating as a heritage architect. She worked at Thiais et Morel and on the Petit Palais project. Her encounter with the work of the great builder Jean Prouvé came through her work at Atelier Jean Nouvel, which was then in charge of a Jean Prouvé rehabilitation project. Her approach to Jean Prouvé raises the question of how to position oneself when faced with a work of value. It expresses the tug-of-war between preservation and adaptation to new uses. This approach to Jean Prouvé's work ultimately led Caroline and Mirco, who have been partners since 2004, to adopt the off-site construction process. SYbois was the first company to implement it. Assembly systems are key to the resulting reversible and scalable buildings. With off-site construction, quality is possible. All you have to do is resist the logic of catalog prefabrication. With SYbois, they are rehabilitating 176 ordinary housing units that were originally of poor quality but are still occupied. This is a high-performance, low-carbon, bio-based, off-site rehabilitation project for the Einbeck group in Thiais, in the Paris region. Point 1. The architecture is designed to be in harmony with nature and light. The challenge was to enhance the group's image, give it a new identity, and make the whole complex more pleasant, while providing more comfortable housing. The metal cladding, which envelopes the structures and bio-based insulation, is slightly reflective, enhancing the albedo effect. Light plays with the facades, giving them a changing character, while the oak joinery establishes a harmonious link with the site's natural environment. Point 2. Custom-made off-site facades for a new identity. The panels, manufactured off-site by SYbois, made it possible to overcome numerous architectural and technical challenges. The grid, composed of several types of elements, is repeated regularly, forming the facades of the existing buildings. The flexibility offered by the manufacture of wooden panels, both in terms of choice of finishes and dimensions, made it possible to adapt to each type of building. This flexibility was implemented while maintaining standardization of the elements, which is essential for optimized off-site production. The reflections on the facades and the alternating loggias mitigate the monotony typical of social housing buildings of this period. Vertically arranged wooden joint covers introduce a new vertical dynamic, enriching the existing facades and giving them a more contemporary architectural identity. Supports fixed to the structure hold the panels in place, while the vertical connections are made directly on site. The old joinery is removed as part of the interior renovation work, allowing the new finishing elements to be installed while ensuring functional and aesthetic continuity. Point 3. The SYbois industrial supply chain. All modules are custom designed to fit perfectly into the existing facade. However, although technically complex, the joinery is standardized to facilitate serialization and industrial production. This strategic choice combines customization with economic efficiency. The manufacturing process is optimized to ensure rapid production, with a level of quality close to automotive industry standards. The delivery of modules to the site is organized on a just-in-time basis, minimizing storage requirements and facilitating smooth and efficient logistics management. The choice of finishing materials is left to the architect's discretion. This flexibility allows the industrial process to be adapted to a wide variety of contexts, thus meeting the specific aesthetic and functional requirements of each project. This modular system offers design freedom while maintaining the advantages of optimized and standardized production. Point 4. Assembly is provided by GCC Construction. The modules are lifted by specialized personnel under the supervision of GCC Construction, the general contractor. The same company also took charge of the finishing touches and connections on site, as well as the interior finishing work. This integrated organization made it possible to optimize deadlines and ensure perfect coordination in the execution of the work. Work in the homes was organized in consultation with the tenants, by appointment. A team dedicated to monitoring the work was mobilized to support residents throughout all phases of the work. This system ensured effective coordination, addressed tenants' concerns, and minimized disruption to their daily lives. The modules were delivered in a compact and efficient manner, minimizing the carbon impact of transport. Lifting was carried out using mobile cranes. Dear listeners, thank you for your faithful listening. Let's meet again next week for a new Comme d'Archi in English. And until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening.
And thanks to the sound engineer who was collaborating with us today.
Don't forget to tune in to our previews on Instagram at Comme d'Archi Podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, don't hesitate to promote it by giving it 5 stars and a little comment on Apple Podcast or on your favorite podcast platform. And above all, subscribe to listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.